Hi, I'm Dr. Helen. Welcome back to Creative Cooking. I'm so glad you decided to join us today because we have some incredible meals for you today. Sometimes you just kind of want to have a little laid back kind of, just a relaxing kind of meal, maybe a sandwich, or you want to have a tortilla. We have a couple of things for you. So you just sit back because you are going to enjoy them immensely. We're playing on that theme of basil and how basil controls blood sugar and helps to kind of just keep things steady for you. So we're going to use 3 meals that include fresh basil, and the smell is absolutely incredible. Our first one is going to be pesto avocado sandwich, and then our second one is going to be an onion basil tortilla, and then our third and final one for this episode is avocado basil toast. Sometimes I call it avocado basil bruschetta when I want to be a little Italian, but yeah, that also works. So today we're going to start with our pesto avocado sandwich. The ingredients are spinach pesto sauce, 1 avocado slice, 1/2 of a red onion. We're going to slice that. I like for it to be in rings. 2 leaves or 3 of green leaf lettuce. Sometimes you can use a purple leaf lettuce, which we've decided to use today. 1 organic tomato and your favorite gluten-free bread. Now the spinach pesto sauce, we made that on a previous episode, so make sure you go back and watch that one so you can see how we did it, because it's absolutely delicious. You won't regret it. But we're going to start here with our toast. We have cut our bread in a little bit of a fancy way, right? So we've cut our bread, we've toasted the bread. This is a nice gluten-free toast. Toasted it so that it's just a nice crispness to it. And then we're going to use our spreader, and we're going to use our delicious smelling spinach pesto. You know, we're building flavor so much and building nutrition at the same time that we put spinach in our pesto, which is not really the normal thing that people do, but hey, this is what we do because we are looking for health as our new currency. So we want it to be as healthy as possible. But we don't want to sacrifice the flavor. So we have that spread on there, and it's so nice and easy to spread. And we're going to spread it on both sides of the bread. And look at how nicely that spreads. You can use this for so many different things. That led me to name this episode Pesto Possibilities. Do you like that term? I do. Then we're going to take our lettuce and we're going to press our lettuce down on the sandwich, and then slices of Roma tomato. I always get my tomatoes organically grown because tomatoes are sprayed extremely heavily with pesticides. And as we said before, pesticides add no extra flavor. I remember when I was a resident in my career, starting off my career as a physician, and I used to bring my lunch, and people like to see what you're going to have for lunch when you don't eat like a meat or just the regular things that everybody consumes. And so she asked, well, what did you bring for lunch today? And I told her, I started describing my meal, and I had these organic tomatoes and all of these organic things that I was eating. And she said, ew, organic? That's so nasty. And I looked at her and I said, no, organic really just means that there are no added pesticides, so there's no more poisons on it. So you just taste the regular flavor of the food. And pesticides don't add any extra flavor. And I think that is the sentiment of many people, because people think that if it's an organic something, then it's not delicious. But all it means is that it doesn't have pesticides. And before this industrial revolution or this agricultural revolution occurred, everything we ate was organic. And so now we've started experiencing more diseases because our food has more of these toxins on them, and we have to really be careful about that. So I always buy my tomatoes organically. But look at how beautiful the onions, the red onions are. I like to add that color in there. This is just adding so much richness, not only in color, but in flavor. Then I'm going to take my avocado, and I love to slice my avocado with an avocado peeler. And the way this works is I can just take the avocado cutter and just put it right inside of the avocado and then peel it out. And it comes out with nice slices of the avocado. So then I'm going to take the avocado and I'm going to lay pieces across the top of the sandwich, like that, and kind of spread them out a little bit. And then I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of oregano. And then I have lemon. I don't know if anybody is like me, but when I eat avocado, it makes me nauseous. And so when I use lemon or some other citrus, lemon or lime, and kind of sprinkle that on it, then it kind of takes away that feeling for me, because avocado is so delicious and creamy. I like to eat it. And so I do that, and it tends to help. So then I will just garnish my plate with a nice little piece of lemon on the side, and then there is my delicious sandwich. And I can enjoy this sandwich knowing that I have built not only flavor, but I've also built in some nutrition. And that nutrition is so important. I am in the business of reversing type 2 diabetes and in the business of staying healthy. And all of my patients get to find out all of these wonderful things that they can eat to actually maintain their health, even after they started the reversing process. So this is really exciting. It's delicious, and I think you will enjoy it. Our next delicious meal is going to be onion basil tortilla. And the ingredients are gluten-free tortilla. I usually use an almond tortilla. And then I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of red onions, and I like to slice the onions. A 1/4 cup of black olives, I slice those. And then 1/2 cup of arugula. And arugula is one of those bitter greens, and it's really very delicious. 8 organic cherry tomatoes, and I cut them in half. I use a cheesy sauce, and then I use the spinach pesto sauce and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground garlic to sprinkle on it, and then red pepper flakes to just taste, because I like a little extra spice. We're going to teach you how to make that cheesy sauce next, and that's made with 2 cups of raw cashews, and I soak those. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, 1 to 2 garlic cloves, about a tablespoon of amino acids, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and I like that unfiltered apple cider vinegar. We call it with the mother to make sure that it is unfiltered. Then I'll use a juice of 1 lemon and a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And it's optional, but you know, I like a little bit of spice in my life. That pepper kind of helps with circulation, so I like to add a little spice and a little kick to my life. So you might enjoy it too, but it's optional. So our next one with this flavor enhancing deliciousness we're going to make, okay? This is our onion basil tortilla. And every year, in the beginning of the year, I do a 40-day fast, because I'd like to make sure I clean out all of those toxins from the previous year, especially Christmas time, because you start eating all kinds of things at Christmas time. So I usually use that time as a cleanup time as I saute my vegetables. So I would just do this 40-day fast. And this year, I invited people on the 40-day fast with me. So we did a 40-day accelerated healing detox. And man, the number of people that joined us, I think it ended up being several hundred people that joined us in this quest to detox for the beginning of the year. And this is one of the dishes that I made towards the latter part of the detox. And people absolutely loved it. So what we're doing here is we're just sauteing the onions, we're sauteing the tomatoes and the black olives, really just to kind of soften the onions and to get some of the flavor here in the pan. and just to make sure the onions are not like really hard to bite into. So once this happens with a little bit of water, I'm going to then add my arugula. This is one of those bitter greens that's really, really good for you. Every time I think of green food, I think about iron and how much iron it's supplying to my body. And it kind of makes you feel a little bit like Popeye, right? So I saute these vegetables together, and I'm really just going to allow the arugula to wilt. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder over it, just for a little bit of flavor in that, because you want to bite down into flavor. Like I'm really, really, really interested in having lots of flavor. So then I'm going to take that, put it to the side, put my tortilla in the pan so that it warms, and I'm going to pull this out. So I want the tortilla to get warm and even a little bit toasty on one side. That way it can actually hold up against the vegetables that we're putting on top. Now, this is not a neat food, so do not think that you are going to go on a date and be cute with your date, because when you eat this, things will be falling off, but you just pick them up and you eat them. So it's not like something to, well, you remember those days you're trying to impress somebody. So I'm going to take this and just let it heat up in the pan very nicely. And once it heats on one side, then I'm going to flip it over and allow it to heat on the other side. This is a gluten-free tortilla, and as we've said previously on other episodes, that gluten actually damages the beta cells that are in the pancreas. The pancreas is responsible, the beta cells are responsible for secreting insulin, and insulin is what we use to control our blood sugars. And when that doesn't happen, then we have issues like uncontrolled blood sugars. So here we have the tortilla. Now I'm going to just top it with a bit of my cheesy sauce that we gave you the recipe for. And this is simple to make. Really, you're just going to put everything in the Vitamix and blend it, or everything in whatever high-speed blender you have. So we're just going to spread that over. And try not to burn your fingers like Dr. Helen is doing, because it doesn't feel good. And then we're going to just top these vegetables, put the vegetables back on. Like that. And look how beautiful that is. Now I'm just going to grab a spatula so that I can plate this beautiful item. This is a reverse it tostada. See? Now I have the spinach pesto. Look at how these edges kind of curl up. They're crunchy, so when you bite into it, it's going to be crunchy. So I'm going to take a little bit of water and put it in the pesto. And really, I'm just doing this just to make it a little thinner, just a little thinner, not a lot, just so that I can drizzle it a little bit better. That flavor is still in there. All right, and then I'm just going to take some and just drizzle it across on top of this, because you just want to have lots of flavor and lots of these things added on to make sure that you're enjoying your snack. You're sitting there watching 3ABN, got your feet kicked up, you put a little tostada there so that you can eat it while you're doing it. Make sure you have a tray under you, because it's going to be a mess all over your lap, because as you bite into this deliciousness, you might have an olive fall off, or maybe a tomato, but those are things that you're just going to pick up and you're going to eat them, and you're just going to close your eyes while you're listening to 3ABN and just enjoy it. So I am so excited for this delicious thing. I mean, look at how gorgeous, and look at how many flavors have been added to that. Look at how much nutrition is in here. And when I think about, like, God is like so amazing to me, because not only did he give you vegetables, but then he gave you like some seasonings for it. So you can use some fresh basil, you can use some fresh cilantro, you can use any of the fresh herbs that you choose, and just waken up the food flavor, make it even more delicious than it was before. And your foods just go to a whole different level when you do that. So make sure you enjoy this tostada. Did I pronounce that like in a way that maybe some of you out there might say, oh, wow, she has a good accent? Maybe not. Well, I tried. So we're going to start with our last meal, which is probably my favorite one. And this one is avocado basil toast. Sometimes I call it avocado basil bruschetta. I try to, use my Italian accent there. Did I make it for you Italians? Did that work? Maybe, maybe not. Here we go. Here are the ingredients. Avocado basil toast. I'm going to use 2 to 4 slices of some really good gluten-free bread. I'm going to toast them, not really hard, but just kind of a light toast on them, a light brown toasting on them. You don't want the toast to be hard, but you do want it to be able to stand up to the vegetables that you're going to put on it. I'm going to use a large avocado, and that avocado we're going to smash to make kind of our basil guacamole. We're going to do 2 large cloves and mince those really finely so that you're not biting on big chunks of garlic, unless you want to, but I like mine to be a little finely minced so that you just get that flavor all through it. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of diced red onions, a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I told you I love smoked paprika. I put it in like lots of my foods. And then we're going to use a handful of basil, chop it up kind of coarsely, about 1/4 cup it ends up being, and then the juice of a juicy lime. And I like to take my lime and roll it on the countertop. Just roll it so that you can get the juices to come into the center of the fruit. And then we're going to use some salt to taste. Our topping is going to be this cherry tomato deliciousness, and that we use about 10 cherry tomatoes. I slice them. If you want to dice them, that's also good. You can use 2 tablespoons of fresh basil, 1 large garlic clove, mince that really nicely, and then juice of the other half of that juicy lime that you just juiced up, and then we're going to use some salt to taste. Can't wait for you to try it. And so when we make this incredible avocado basil toast or avocado basil bruschetta, if you love basil, you are absolutely going to love this one. What I have started off with is part of the avocado. I've smashed half of it, and I'm going to scoop out this other half. See, it's a nice creamy avocado. Scoop out that other half. I like to use a softer avocado when I'm making a guacamole, and I use the more firm avocado when I'm making things like a sandwich and I want the avocado to slice nicely so that it has a nice heaviness to dress a sandwich. But in an avocado mash or guacamole, I want to mash it, so I want it to be a soft one, and I want it to be smashable, easily smashable. And when it's creamy, when it's like that, it's nice and creamy. There's really kind of a good time, you want it to be not too hard and not too soft. If it gets too soft and it's black inside, use it for your hair. It's really a great omega-3 for your hair, a nice fat to put in your hair. So here, I have mashed the avocado, and to it I'm going to add lots of garlic. So I have my garlic that I've minced here. So we're going to put that in. And then we're going to put some smoked paprika in here, because again, smoked paprika just makes it all taste good. And then we're going to put in some red onion. And we're going to put in some salt, and then lime, and we're going to put in some basil on that one. So that basil is going to really set this flavor off in here. So we'll stir that around. Make sure it's mixed up really nicely. Now you can taste this to make sure if you have enough salt in it, if you have enough basil, you can always add more. If you're like me, you'll just, add until you just really love it more. So then I will take that and set it to the side, and then we're going to make our topping. Our topping is going to have more of our garlic. You're almost duplicating the flavors. And with all this flavor that you get out of a garden, it really just makes such a huge difference, and it makes things taste so much more alive and so much more flavorful. Then I'm going to take some fresh basil, put that in there, and I'm going to squeeze half of a lime juice in on top of there. It's 1/2 of the half that I've cut, and then the other half. And then we're going to sprinkle a little salt in there to taste. And then just toss that around to mix it up very well. Okay, now we're going to start our assembly process. And I'm going to use probably a knife to spread this, or a spreader to spread this. It's nice to have the right tools in the kitchen. It just kind of makes everything easier, right? So we're going to spread that. I kind of top this one off really nicely here. Make it kind of thick on there. And then put it on the other side. And nobody really likes to eat the ends of the toast, but this is a nice way to be able to eat the ends of the toast because there's so much flavor on it, you forget that you're eating the end of it. And then after that, we're going to top it with our delicious tomato basil topping. Look at that. Beautiful. See how that color kind of pops and just kind of adds just more deliciousness to this whole thing. I can't tell you how many times I was just sitting at home, maybe I was working in the office, and just decided, you know what, I want some avocado basil toast. And I always keep cherry tomatoes at home. I always keep tomatoes, really, but cherry tomatoes in particular. And I always, did I say always? I always keep garlic because garlic is so full of nutrition. I go to a big warehouse store and I will purchase like the bag of garlic, fresh garlic. And I peel that garlic and I put garlic in every food that I'm making. If I am cooking something, there will be garlic in it somehow. And so the garlic is so important to me because, again, I'm trying to maintain my blood pressure. I want my blood pressure to be normal. And, here in the Dare to Dream Network, we're trying to promote health and we're trying to maintain health. And that's what we're doing with our Reverse It program. So we're doing all these different kinds of things to make sure that our immune systems are nice and strong and that we're able to actually live a vibrant and healthy life. And who doesn't want to live a healthy and vibrant life, especially when you can live a healthy, vibrant life deliciously. This is what delicious is all about. So you can use this as a snack. You can use it as a lunchtime meal. I've done it as a lunchtime meal several times. Or you can do it as a light dinner. And that will get you through the night and through the rest of the morning until it's time to break your fast in the morning. So this is a winner. So today we have made 3 delicious meals, still incorporating basil and still building flavor in the food. That's what we love to do, because I don't like bland food, and most of you don't either. Some people can do it, but I just can't. I love to have flavor, and when that flavor comes in the form of what God put on the earth for me to season my food with, how good is that? How delicious can that be? So when we talk about having foods that are super, this is where super is. Everything that grows out of the ground is really superfood, because what makes it a superfood is that it's low in calories and high in nutrition. And all of the things that grow out of the ground that have these antioxidants, the different antioxidants that fight different things, that keeps our immune system strong, is really what's important. So I am so excited to be able to pull it out of the ground. And on my back porch, I have just pots, because it's cemented in the back. So I don't have a garden. My husband did build me a raised garden, so I have that, but he didn't have enough. It wasn't large enough to grow all of the things that I wanted to grow, especially the herbs. So I put small pots on the back porch. So I have basil in one, I have sage in another one, I have thyme in another one, I have lemon balm, all different kinds of herbs, because these things are what they're here to make sure that we're healthy. So I'll just go to the store, get an organic basil plant, put it in the ground, and it just flourishes. So basil is important to maintain your blood sugar. It's important because it's antiviral, it's antifungal, it increases your immune system. So many wonderful things. And did I mention that it's absolutely delicious too on top of that? That's what we're looking for. So today we made our 3 meals. We made our first one with our delicious pesto sandwich. Our second one was our onion basil tortilla. And then our third was this delicious avocado basil toast. Now, when you put these things together, and even put it together just for family, friends, or people that are just coming by, you're going to have a great time. You're going to have delicious meals, and people are going to enjoy it. When you are more healthy, you're more happy. We are into health. Healthy is the new currency. So when you're healthy, you're rich. Be rich. Be happy. Flourish. Enjoy what you're eating, and enjoy every day. You use your lemons, you use your limes, and everything that you have to enhance the flavors of your food. It's going to be delicious. So enjoy it. Reverse type 2 diabetes. Don't forget to join us. Check out our book, Reverse It, Reversing Type 2 Diabetes. We do it in 3 months, and then we help you maintain it. We even have a journal that goes along with it, so that you can use the journal to chart your success. However you do it, maintain what you do, follow the recipes, you're happy.